Hi everyone. So it's another Sunday night with Sierra, and this week I want to talk about one of the presuppositions that we are understanding is a fundamental belief system and foundation for almost everyone, unless you've really worked on this. It's something that all of us are coming from when we are having emotional reactions or feeling triggered or how we are also making decisions. And so those decisions that we're making are catapulting our outcomes, right? And it's something that's not unknown to people. I'm sure plenty of us are completely aware of it. It is the idea that we act from a place and filter things from a place where our past is a direct reflection and a predictor of what future experiences are going to be. So, meaning that we come from this place where it smells like, looks like, feels like what has already happened to us or similar to what has already happened to us, or maybe you are finding yourself back in this place of repeating a pattern, repeating a situation, having it look the same as it did once before, and you're automatically going to be triggered and you're automatically going to go into that fear space, and you're automatically going to start having emotions, reactions, and making choices and decisions based on that past experience. That makes sense. I bet probably if you think about it, you can say, oh yeah, I do that. I do that. It's definitely something that even for me probably is one of the things that I've identified for myself is that I have repeated either basically the exact same one. I'm talking same players, same dynamics, same a lot of things. Or I find myself just replaying the exact same dynamics, the same situations, just with different characters, right? With different players in it. And yet, like I said, certainly it's been one of the things that I feel like I myself personally have repeated. And I have a tattoo to remind me that when we come back to a situation or come back to a circumstance that looks like or actually is the same as it had been already once before in the past, to be mindful and to remember that while it looks the same, it feels the same, it smells the same, it tastes the same, right? The truth is that you are different. You have shifted. You have moved into a place. And so for me, my tattoo is the spiral. And so it's remembering that we come back to this thing, but you're on an outer ring now. So in NLP, one of the things that we work with is this idea that the past experience is not a predictor for what your future experience has to be. And so, again, even if you can just make that little minor shift to allow yourself the validation and the awareness that even at the smallest amount, you are at least a little, one ring outside where, like, I get you're in the same spot on the circle, but you're one ring out from where you were in the past before. And that makes a difference. And it can make a difference. It can make a huge difference as long as we allow ourselves to believe that. And we put ourselves into a position where we can let go of the fact that every time I find myself in this situation, it ends up like this, right? Because that's what so many of us do. Like I said, we are triggered, we have a sense of fear around it, and then next thing you know, you're making decisions and having emotional reactions and feeling, and that we know this, the way that you feel is incredibly powerful, right? It's a very strong physical, calculable energy. It is one the scientists literally study. So the stronger you are feeling sad, afraid, love, what have you, that is literally emitting from you in a measurable way. Scientists have measured this. And it is absolutely affecting then everything around you in the most physical way, let alone in a metaphysical way, right? So you can go into this situation and say, if nothing else, I'm a little bit different than I was, so this outcome can be different. The point to get to is to be able to internalize and know with absolute certainty that just because it looks the same, it can and will have a different outcome this time if you choose it to. If you can get yourself into a place of allowing belief and then internalizing that. Because don't think that you can fool yourself. There is that whole fake it till you make it. And that will go so far and it will have a little bit of an impact. But at the end of the day, the true you, the inner you, knows. The subconscious you knows that you're faking it. And so it might help. It might help just enough to start to give you some confidence and validation in that things really have shifted. And even though this situation looks the same or this circumstance looks the same, it can and will have a different outcome. Because those are the stages, right? The stages of belief are just even a little bit of saying, I'm different now than I was before. So maybe it can have a different outcome. And then the next stage of that is saying it will have a different outcome because I am different, because I'm choosing different. And just because that happened in my past does not mean that it has to happen again right now. We can have a different outcome. So this was my topic that I wanted to talk about this week. Again, it's something that I've been in class. It's something that I have often struggled with for myself. I was sharing with a friend that this was something and she was like, oh, this is perfect because everything's going retrograde. So I have an awareness for those of you that are into astrology that know that I think there's like 4 planets maybe that are in retrograde right now, which is sort of an unusual occurrence. But that whole idea of retrograde, and again, forgive me, because that astrology is not my wheelhouse, but my understanding is that when things go retrograde, right, it's this revisiting of our old patterns. It's this revisiting of the dynamics that we've created, the beliefs that we've created, the outcomes that we've created. Again, it's this repeating, it's this walking things back and finding yourself having to evaluate or relive something that you had already thought you moved through. So it seemed like great timing for me to bring this up. Like I said, I know it's already showing up in my life. It always does. It's something that, like I said, has been a focus of real awareness for me and something that I've struggled with, quite frankly. I struggle with it all the time and have really beat myself up and given myself a hard time for finding myself back in the same positions. And so maybe that's your case too. And I think I'm finally into a place now where I can say, so what? So what if it looks the same? It is the same. It smells the same. It tastes the same. I can change this. So what if it comes again? Guess what? Monday comes every week too. Right? So let me leave you with that. I hope you all have a great new week. As always, please feel free to message me. I would love to hear from any of you. And hang in there. Hang in there as we continue to move through all of this stuff that is certainly presenting us all with ideas and spaces and time and situations that we've never been aware of before, right? Also, just want to mention Wednesday night, the 20th, I will be a part of a love and relationship online conference event. And so I'll make sure that I post those links so that you can tap into that if that's something that you're interested in right now. All right, everyone. Again, have a great rest of your week. Direct message me if I can be of help.